Well, it's my great pleasure to address this meeting, which I think represents a very important development in Brazil. I've been asked to make a few opening remarks, offer some thoughts that might help you during the meeting, and I have three basic ideas that I'd like to at least list for you in a way to guide your discussion. The first is, what is a constitution? The second is, what is originalism? And the third is, what does popular sovereignty actually mean? So, as for what of a constitution is, my definition of a constitution is a little unusual, but once you hear it, I think you'll see it makes sense. And that is, a constitution is not the law that governs us or we the people. The Constitution is the law that governs those who govern us. So they make laws to govern us, but the Constitution is a law that governs them, which is why a good Constitution needs to be in writing, because that is something that can guide, that can provide those who make the law with a law that governs them. So, what is originalism then? Originalism somewhat follows from the idea that a constitution is the law that governs those who govern us, because it basically says that the meaning of the Constitution should remain the same until it's properly changed by amendment. And that's really all originalism says. The meaning of the Constitution, which is a written Constitution, should remain the same until it's properly changed by amendment. And the reason why it needs to be properly changed by amendment is because those who are to be governed by the law can no more change the law that governs them than we can change the laws that they make to govern us without going through the legislative process. So they have to go through the amendment process to change the law that governs them, and we have to go through the legislative process to change the law that they make to govern us. And originalism just holds them to the meaning of the Constitution that is fixed at the time that it's enacted. Each and every person who takes power under the Constitution takes an oath to obey the Constitution. And that oath would mean nothing if the Constitution meant simply what they thought it meant or what they wanted it to mean. And so that is essentially what a originalism stands for. It stands for the idea that there's a meaning fixed in a written constitution that binds those who make laws to govern us. And they can't change that unless they go through the amendment process that's stipulated or identified in that constitution. And this all does relate to popular sovereignty, because popular sovereignty is the idea that ultimately the people are who is sovereign. And there are two competing visions or versions of what popular sovereignty means. And I call them the collective vision of popular sovereignty and the individual vision of popular sovereignty. The collective vision of popular sovereignty views we, the people, as a group. And governance, what popular sovereignty means is governance by we, the people. Well, or governance according to the will of we, the people. Well, the only way that we, the people, can govern as a group or according to its will is by majority will, because you obviously don't have unanimous will of everybody in a country. The most that a will of we, the people, can mean is majority will. But the problem with that is that it means that the majority, under this conception of popular sovereignty, can basically violate the rights of the minority, and there is no constraint on the will of the majority. Any constraint on the will of the majority is condemned as being anti-democratic and illegitimate. And therefore, the majority can basically do what it wants, which of course puts in jeopardy the rights of the minority. So what is the competing conception of popular sovereignty? The competing conception of popular sovereignty is we the people as individuals, an individualistic view of popular sovereignty. And what that means is we, the people, as individuals, each and every one of us has rights. Now, we in the United States were founded on the Declaration of Independence. That is our founding document, which states that all persons, all men are born with individual rights, with the inalienable rights to life, liberty, or property. And it is to secure these rights that governments are instituted among men. So the purpose of government is to secure the rights of we, the people. And by that, we mean we, the people, each and every one of us. So under this conception, popular sovereignty doesn't mean rule by we, the people. It means rule by a subset of us who are the governors, who take an oath to uphold the Constitution. And we, the people, are those who are governed. Our Declaration of Independence says that governments are established among men. To secure these rights, governments are established among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So the people who govern us are a subset of we the people, but they are agents of we the people, and the responsibility is to protect the rights of we the people, each and every one of us. So under this view of popular sovereignty, what's necessary is what we call a republican form of government. A republican form of government does include representational elements to check the will of those who govern us. We want democratic aspects of the Constitution to check the will of those few people that govern us and protect the rights of the majority. But it also contains constitutional constraints to protect the rights of the minority, or the rights of the ultimate minority, which is the individual, from the will of the majority. And that's a full republican form of government, which includes a written constitution, binds those who are to govern us by the rules and principles of that written constitution, which are devised to protect the rights of the majority, that's usually the democratic features, and the minority, which is oftentimes the judicial features. So I hope that with these three concepts in mind, what is a constitution? It is the law that governs those who govern us. What is originalism? It's the claim that the meaning of the Constitution should remain the same until it's properly changed by amendment. And what is popular sovereignty? It is the idea that the people, as individuals, each and every one of us, are the ultimate sovereigns, and that our governments are our agents and our servants, and their job is to protect the rights, or to secure the rights of we the people, each and every one of us. I hope you have a productive conference. I look forward to hearing what you all have discussed, and to keeping up with the progress of constitutionalism and originalism in Brazil. Thanks for inviting me to give these opening remarks.